Hello, and welcome to InTrend, a USLI podcast where we break down the trends shaping the insurance industry. I am your host, Melissa Kanbayashi. Today, I'm joined by Kelly Christ, Assistant Vice President and Business Development Executive, and Drew Hager, Senior Vice President and National Sales Manager for Retail at USLI. Together, we'll discuss what they saw in the market this year and what those insights reveal about growth, competition, talent, and the trends shaping 2026. Let's jump in. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Drew. Thank you so much for joining us on InTrend today. So let's look back at, 2025. You're both out with customers in your roles on a daily basis. So what did you see in 2025?
Yeah, great question, and thanks for having us. 2025 has been a good year. It's been an exciting year. We work in a great industry. There's a lot happening. Our customers seem to be very driven to figure out ways to grow and grow more in 2026, which is exciting. Uh, um, there's just a lot of good things going on. There's quite a bit of competition, which makes it fun, but there's a ton of opportunity in our business. I mean, there's over $1 trillion in premium in the insurance industry. So there's nothing but opportunity out there, and everybody's finding different ways to chase it.
I think it was a really exciting year because in post pandemic times, we're now in person more often with our customers, getting to know them better, getting to understand their communities better, and understanding what we're insuring in those communities. So, from that perspective, it's been a really exciting year just to be able to build more relationships within the industry. And as somebody who is 4 years in at USLI, it was exciting to be able to get out and talk with our customers, learn more about the insurance industry in general, and ultimately being able to be a carrier partner for those in those offices and how we can build a sustainable long-term future together.
So in connection with building, right? Did we see a lot of growth in the wholesale and retail space, whether it be by merger acquisition, new shops opening, or just organic growth?
Yeah, I think all the above. If you look back the last 12, 15 years, there has been a very high volume of merger and acquisition activity that continued in 2025. It seemed to be maybe a little bit slower than the past few years, but there's also a lot of deals that are bigger in revenue than there were in the past. So there's a lot of big deals happening, but at the same time, that offers an opportunity for people to say, "Hey, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to go start my own agency, hang a shingle. I've got a lot of experience. I think I can do it a different way." So we're seeing some new agencies and new customers open, and um, I think we'll continue to see that happen.
I would say probably 2025 was a slower run on how many
Yeah.
acquisitions were happening. I think that's fair, but from your perspective, it was probably just larger opportunities too.
Yeah, the total revenue that came through mergers and acquisitions was bigger in 25 than it was in 2024, but the number of deals was down.
Okay. And with, this development of, either new shops or mergers and acquisitions, you need talent to fill some roles. So what did we see in terms of either, the recruitment of talent, where the talent came from? Are we, recruiting individuals who are not, with the insurance industry previously? And then also we're looking to people who are retiring within the industry and having to fill those roles. So what did you see?
Yeah, I think I read an article that for every two people leading the industry, there's only one being added. So there is a little bit of a talent gap. Historically, our industry was not great on bringing people into insurance that were not previously in insurance. That has evolved. That is changing. Even at the collegiate level, there's colleges that have risk management programs. There are more of them. That seems to be growing, which is a good thing. It should increase the talent pool over time, but that's not the only place we should be recruiting. I mean, there's great people around our country that could be great insurance professionals that we need to attract to our industry, bring them in, but more importantly, be able to have the tools and skills to train them and develop them. So we have seen a trend with our customers certainly moving towards more organic growth and the mindset of, hey, we need to grow here within our four walls versus just buying premium and revenue. And they're developing training and development departments where they might promote somebody into that role, and their sole focus going forward is to build out ways to recruit better, but also bring people on board, train them, and put them into roles that will help those individuals be successful, but also help their operation be successful. So I think we'll see more of that as we go into 2026. It's a topic of conversation in every single meeting that we have. And that's a good thing for our industry. Organic growth is really a driver of what the future is going to hold. And we should be seeing more and more of that going forward.
Yeah, I think the reason it's a topic of conversation in a lot of our customer discussions is there's people getting ready to retire in 2026, and we have to be able to, fill that seat, have somebody take over that book of business and help service the insureds at the end of the day. So how are they going to maximize the team that they currently have, and how are they going to be able to fill the roles that are going to be available, and hopefully being able to create a plan for the future where maybe they didn't have somebody in insurance, but they have the ability to train them and make them comfortable with what they're going to be taking on in their career in the insurance industry and at that retail or wholesale level.
And so, moving into carriers, was 2025 a profitable year for carriers?
I think generally speaking, yes. If you break it down, there's certain lines of business that historically have not been as profitable, which still are not that profitable, such as auto insurance. But other lines of business, you look at property, it seems to be becoming a little bit more profitable, and maybe the margins aren't quite what people want them to be, but they're certainly improving over the last few years. You look at the professional liability space, it seems like it's very, very competitive right now, and that would indicate carriers are profitable and getting more aggressive there. I think general liability is a little bit all over the place. You look at certain classes for GL seem to be pretty profitable, but you look at higher limits, you look at excess limits, carriers aren't quite as aggressive there. So, where you might be looking 5, 15, $20 million in limits, it seems like the market's a little more constricted to provide that capacity. So it varies. I think that the general answer is yes, it was a little more of a profitable year last year for the industry in total, but it depends on line of business. It really does.
The general consensus at the retail level, at least, has been that property rates have been going up steadily over the last few years due to cat events that are happening and having to pay for that property exposure. But it sounds like from just the general conversations at these offices, there's a lot of people who believe that with the favorable, situation with cat events not causing too much damage in 2025, that those rates will start to get a little bit easier for the insureds. And by being able to open up their team to go away from the remarketing that they've been doing in past years on the property end, they're able to focus on that organic growth and that new business opportunity. So with the favorable situation on, claims, things of the property nature and the other areas that we're finding, the ability to be profitable on, the retailer is able to focus on that new business and, go after the areas that they want to grow their book of business overall.
Okay. And I think you touched upon like those areas that, have been profitable. What do we see, change-wise for maybe 2026 in terms of, these lines of business and their profitability?
Yeah, I mean, I think the trend would show that the marketplace is getting more competitive. Mm. If companies are profitable, they're going to be more aggressive to get premium on the books, and that's just the natural way that it goes. So, I do see competition increasing in 2026, which is a good thing. We all love competition, and we got to find a way to win the business. It always falls back to kind of line of business, and you'll see reductions and more aggressiveness in certain places, and maybe some steadiness or increases in other places, and it tends to all come out in the wash. But the sense is that 2026 is going to be a very competitive marketplace.
Okay. And obviously, AI is a big topic
It's been a big topic for a while now. But what did we see in 2025 with respect to how AI has impacted the insurance industry?
I think at every
Mm.
level of distribution, as well as on the carrier side, we're all trying to figure out how to adopt it. Some have dove in head first, others are playing around with it and trying to figure it out. Um, it can create efficiencies that are wonderful, but you also got to remember the human part of our business is still very important. So, how do you utilize AI to help people become more efficient in their jobs, to help them spend more times on the more complicated things and things that really drive impact? Um, we see it maybe filtering into more of the process oriented things. You see in the news that people are figuring out efficiencies with AI through their accounting teams or technology teams or different ways to help it support their business. Some carriers, I believe, are trying to use it on the underwriting side in small ways to figure out how it can help them transact business without having to touch every piece of business. But the jury's still out, I think, a little bit. It's evolving rapidly, as we all know, and everyone's trying to figure out how it can work for their organization. But it's a topic of conversation at every single meeting that we have, every single trip we go on. It's something everybody's talking about, but there's a lot to learn and a lot to figure out on how it can really help everybody in different ways.
Yeah, and I would say, similar to what we were talking about earlier, bringing talent into the industry, that's a great new area for people who are maybe tech savvy and more interested in that space. The insurance industry is very interested in trying to figure out a lot of what Drew is talking about. So, if you are more interested in that space, insurance is still an option as far as the industries you could consider, because there's a lot of interest in trying to figure out how to benefit from utilizing that in the smaller ways, but also in some of the bigger ways that he was mentioning earlier, too.
So, obviously, AI is going to continue to be a trending topic into 2026. What else do you see as being a trend that will continue and or, start in 2026?
I think cyber's the easy answer. It's been around for many years now, but that's evolving almost as fast as AI is. There's exposures out there that people are more familiar with. There's a lot of news articles that come out with cyber attacks and the money it costs to remedy that and notify people, and it's a big deal. I think there's some carriers that have figured out how to do it fairly well. There's new entrants coming in to try to figure out different ways to do it and different ways to look at it. So it's an evolving trend that I think will continue to evolve because there's probably different ways that cyber is going to impact us over the next 5 or 10 years that nobody even knows about. So something to be aware of, something to think about, but no one's mastered it yet.
Yeah, and I would say that our customers are constantly looking to fulfill the needs of their insureds. At the end of the day, if a client comes to you and is looking to insure something, you have to have a solution for them. So, one of the things that is very commonly brought up in 2025, and I anticipate continuing into 2026, is the need for excess limits. With the jury verdicts that are coming out, unfortunately, there's going to be a need for higher limits for even the smaller commercial exposures that you might think, I don't need that type of limit, but contracts are requiring it now just because of what's happened in society and the need to cover and make yourself whole again as an organization that's working in your community. So, excess has definitely been one of the top products that I am hearing about at the USLI level, but I am very confident that that's happening in conversations at many different carriers, and their insureds are trying to make sure that they get those limits that they need.
Great thoughts on what we're going to see in 2026. So, just looking back again at 2025, what was your takeaway from what you've seen out in the industry and being with our customers?
My takeaway is it's an exciting time in our industry. It's never been, more viable. There's so much opportunity. There's so many different things that you can do. What's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years is maybe not even in existence today. I mean, there's so much excitement around what's going on, I would say. And then we feel that in our customers' offices. We feel that with the people in our building. There's a ton of opportunity ahead. And the more people we can bring into our industry, the more successful we can all be, the more we can grow together and really bring change to what we're doing and what we're doing long term. My reflection on 2025 is it was a good year, and there's nothing but excitement as we look into the windshield going into next year.
I'd have to echo Drew's sentiments about that. Our customers are excited about growing in 2026. So being able to be there as a carrier partner is an exciting time because of what we can do to help them to accomplish their goals. So I would say, to echo what he's saying, if you're not somebody who has a lot of insurance experience, this is the time to get into it, learn. There's opportunity, and it's certainly an opportunity for you to really create a long-term path in what you're going to do for your career.
And I would add, like, in 2025, I think one of the biggest things everyone's talking about is speed to market, right? I mean, we live in a on-demand world, and everything's at your fingertips, whether it's on your phone or on your computer or whatever. And no matter the size, the complexity, the line of business, everybody wants it now. And they probably want it yesterday, which is exciting because there's opportunity with that. You need to be accessible, you need to be fast, but you need to do it right, right? At the end of the day, you need to deliver a good product at the most efficient way possible. And we talk about things like AI and new talent, and all that is additive in that end result of bringing speed to the market, but at a high quality that helps our customer be successful. So that's only going to continue to get better, I think, as we get more creative and use different variables that help us with that. But we need good humans to do it too.
Right. Those are some great final thoughts. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Drew, for
Thank you.
joining us on InTrend. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next installment of InTrend.